Chapter 18. Power. Original sin, according to Genesis 3:5, is man's desire to be his own God, knowing or determining good and evil for himself, becoming his own source for all law and morality. Man seeks to be his own God in rebellion against God. Man's will to be God does not mean emulating the goodness, grace, or mercy of God. Albert Camus stated the goal clearly, quote, "Since God claims all that is good in man, it is necessary to decide what is good and choose what is evil." End quote. The focus is on power, man's desire to play God by the exercise, if possible, of total power. Horrifying stories are told of the vicious delight of the Bolsheviks in their treatment of the men and women of the old order. This was nothing new in history. The terrorism used by ancient Assyria, the destruction of life, property and marriage by the Mazdakites of Persia in the 5th century AD, the French and Russian revolutions, and indeed the routine conduct of warfare over the centuries is a long tale of willful atrocities. For example, Genghis Khan held, quote, "The greatest pleasure is to vanquish your enemies and chase them before you, to rob them of their wealth and see those dear to them bathed in tears, to ride their horses and clasp to your bosom their wives and daughters." End quote. This language is close to that of modern de-Christianized men when liquor loosens their tongues. But this lust for power takes forms other than that of Genghis Khan's. It can be scientific, it can be expressed in a desire to control or create life. Jenna Correa, a feminist, has written, "The Mother Machine, Reproductive Technologies from Artificial Insemination to Artificial Wombs," 1985, horrifying accounts of the experimentations with birth. The results are commonly deadly, but the experiments continue. The dream is, among other things, to produce babies through men made into artificial females. Some have claimed to have transplanted mouse embryos into male mice. The desire for the power to control is so great that physicians in one medical journal actually wrote, quote, "It may well be that during the next 42 years, the allowing of a vaginal delivery or attempted vaginal delivery may need to be justified in each particular instance. Perhaps it is not altogether too provocative to suggest that vaginal delivery may yet become the exception rather than the rule." End quote. Eggs are apparently taken from women without their consent to be used in experimentation. Too commonly, those in power equate intelligence with power so that they see other people as experimental animals and themselves as working for science and therefore justified in their planning. Dostoevsky's Grand Inquisitor in The Brothers Karamazov equated his controls with wisdom and the good of mankind. He saw Christ's position as unrealistic because it required freedom, personal decision and conversion. The Grand Inquisitor tells Christ, quote, "Oh, ages are yet to come of the confusion of free thought, of their science and cannibalism. For having begun to build their Tower of Babel without us, they will end, of course, with cannibalism. But then the beast will crawl to us and lick our feet and spatter them with tears of blood. And we shall sit upon the beast and raise the cup, and on it will be written, Mystery. But then, and only then, the reign of peace and happiness will come for men. Thou art proud of thine elect, but thou hast only the elect, while we give rest to all. And besides, how many of those elect, those mighty ones who could become elect, have grown weary of waiting for thee, and have transferred and will transfer the powers of their spirit and the warmth of their heart to the other camp, and end by raising their free banner against thee? Thou didst thyself lift up that banner, but with us all will be happy and will no more rebel nor destroy one another as under thy freedom. Oh, we shall persuade them that they will only become free when they renounce their freedom to us and submit to us." And shall we be right, or shall we be lying? They will be convinced that we are right, for they will remember the horrors of slavery and confusion to which thy freedom brought them. Freedom, free thought and science will lead them unto such straits, and will bring them face to face with such marvels and insoluble mysteries, that some of them, the fierce and rebellious, will destroy themselves. Others, rebellious, will destroy themselves. Others, rebellious but weak, will destroy one another, while the rest, weak and unhappy, will crawl fawning to our feet and whine to us, "Yes, you were right. You alone possess his mystery, and we come back to you. Save us from ourselves." End quote. Dostoevsky's Grand Inquisitor contrasts the freedom of the spirit against a controlling church which distrusts freedom. Dostoevsky saw things as still in the framework of Christendom, whereas George Orwell in 1948 viewed the scene in terms of the growing power of humanistic socialism. For Orwell's new men, God is dead. He is also forgotten. Truth and meaning are man-made, not God-given. One of the three main party slogans in Oceania is, quote, "Freedom is slavery." A second is, "Big Brother is watching you." And the third, "War is peace." These and their implementations serve to obliterate man as God created him in order to create the state-made man. One of the tragedies of Orwell's life is that, much as he hated this goal, he believed it to be possible, and in fact, in the process of realization, Aldous Huxley's Brave New World had not gone quite so far in its pessimism. Modern man's dreams of utopia have become dystopias. Science fiction writers have transferred the utopian dream to distant planets and galaxies, but they have only succeeded in transplanting original sin and the struggle for power across the cosmos. Feminism has extended the power struggle into the relationship of the sexes. The children's rights advocates see the power struggle as indigenous to family life. Having denied God and his law, modern man has denied any morality other than a self-made and purely personal one. The ethics propounded by philosophers and politicians and educators have no God-given and eternal value. They are pragmatically created and pragmatically abandoned, even as treaties between nations are. Charles Oliver, the astute commentator for Reason, has cited a telling incident. Quote, "Andy Hanson's parents weren't too pleased when he brought home a C in math, so they did the only thing good parents can do. They sued his teacher. After a year and $4,000 in legal fees, $8,500 for the Contra Costa County, California School District, the Hansons got a verdict. The C stands. The father says he'll appeal. We went in and we tried to make a deal. They wanted a C, we wanted an A, so why not compromise on a B? But they dug in their heels and here we are." End quote. If the child only earned a C, why not a C? No ethical consideration is cited, only the desire to have one's will done. This is the modern mood. Self-will and power govern modern man. James W. McGray has summarized the difference between Dostoevsky's Grand Inquisitor and Orwell's O'Brien very aptly. Quote, "For the inquisitors of old, God is love, but for the new inquisitors, God is pure power." End quote. Orwell's vision of this new order stresses power. The future is about stamping on a human face forever. This is the logical conclusion of Genesis 3:5, of the Tempter's program. It is a vision of death.